Hi Craig. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, I think you've basically got exactly what I've been doing. Let me show you here with a video rather than just screenshots and descriptions. Okay, so here's the insulating. I'm going to do each corner. Alright, so you can see here's the interlacing. Now the bearings are a different size from the GT220s. So these are 12mm diameter, whereas the GT220s is 16. So you get 16mm separation there and a 12mm separation there, like this. So you have to have two staggered, one like that and one like that. If they were that way round and that way round, that section would hit that. So that's why it's very specific about where they've gone. It just you know, when I positioned the belts, first of all, they intersected. But you can see the separation here is 1.5mm, and separation here is 1.5 plus 12 minus. Yeah, it's plus 16 minus 12. So you can see I've put in the bearing supports in a diagram there for that one, and those will go on to the base here. Then I will have variable belt clamps here and here for that section. It's all clear and free, no clashing or anything like that. I had to bring these out quite a long way. Okay, so these I had to bring out quite a long way because the back of this has to miss the 40 tooth. Right. The other one, I'll show you the other one. It's got a closed loop belt on it. I'll go round in sequence. So you can see this one I haven't put in the thing. So this I put in the base part yet. So this one is just a idler bearing, a 65 bearing. And that's a 65 as well, but that's in the rod to hold the rod. And we go to this corner. Here we have two 65 bearings free. 65 bearings, haven't done that end yet. You notice that this is higher than the other ones. Okay, so those hit there. That hits there. Yes, I noticed you said the idea of putting the lowering the height on these. However, the rods actually come through here, and I didn't want to interfere. So the bearing is on this part, and the rod is on that part, and on the on this one, it's the other way round. The bearing is there and the rod is there. Remember, you've got to take the heights of the rods into account because those have got to cross over. What I didn't want is this bolt to hit the end or interfere with the end of that thing, or there to not be enough plastic in here to give a rigid structure there. If it was lowered in height and you tried to match the rod ends with that. So large blob of plastic there to support the end of this, large blob of plastic there, and also remember you've got the screws on the top, so 8 screws go down into the MG09C blocks. So again, you can see the diagonal cutting in things, you know, the diagonal cuts on those to make sure that it doesn't clash or anything like that. And again, so this one is, all these corners are different. So I'm going to raise it anyway. Yeah, again, variable belt thing, blah blah blah. That's a free end. that's a thing now. These will end up being the clamps to stop the things moving, so that will be against the bearing. This will be against the edge of the bearing. The inner part sticks out a tiny bit compared to the rest, so that will be okay. There won't be any problems with things, but I've left a 0.5 millimeter gap between that and that. And finally, so the thing is, we're almost all the way round. That's the closed loop. A closed loop belt. It's I think it's like 140, 180 millimeters or so. And then they'll be mounted to the Z rod, so it'll be moving up and up and down. Now, again, clearance, it has to be out such a long way, because you've got to clear the back of the bolts on the back to keep those in. You've got to get clearance on that. Dunk, 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 dunk. And again here have to be a thing. Now these are different widths, so this one can be in further. These are in further. Actually, that's worth showing. The depth on this one is shorter than the depth on this one. These ones are quite big, because the belt goes here on this one, because it goes underneath, running right next to the MGN9Cs. Whereas this one goes over the top, so yes, I've had to shorten it. This one belt goes over the top. There, and clearance of just running along the top. It's got to be quite specific about these heights, because the bolts go into those things. I've indented them in, but there's a couple that have to go here to hold these blocks in for the rods. It's all really quite specific. There's no way that I'd be able to do this unless I had actually simulated absolutely everything in the 3D design. I know that some people take the approach of buying parts and then trying assembling things, but you can't, with something this complex, you can't do that. So I have to simulate, design everything before I can even start printing stuff out. Anyway, cool.